In this lesson, we're going to first solve the inequalities. We're going to use the addition property of inequality, the subtraction property, multiplication, and the division properties. The only one that you have to really be concerned about that's different than equations is, I'll write it again, if you divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, the inequality symbol reverses. And by that I mean a less than will change to a greater than. A greater than or equal to will change to a less than or equal to. So it will reverse. So that's going to happen just if we divide by a negative. So let's solve. After we solve, we'll do a number line graph and we'll do an interval. All right, number one. I have 2x is less than negative 4. Well, I treat the inequality symbol just like I treated the equal sign. I have variable isolated. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, which is not a negative number. So x is less than, keep that, negative 2. All right, there's my inequality. Which is a picture of that? Well, if it says less than, it goes to the left. So it can't be this one and it can't be this one. Strictly less than negative 2 is going to require you to have a parentheses at negative 2. So it is D because of the parentheses. If it had been x is less than or equal to negative 2, then it would have been choice A. Write this in interval notation. It's helpful to remember what's at where this is headed, and it's headed toward negative infinity. So left to right, negative infinity, comma, negative 2. Always parentheses around the infinities, and in this case, parentheses around the negative 2. Let's look at the second one. I have x minus 2 is greater than or equal to negative 9. I'm going to, I need to get x by itself, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. X is greater than or equal to, remember to keep that symbol, negative 7. Greater than or equal to, both of those go to the right. So I know that it is not either one of those. Because it says greater than or equal to, I need a bracket at negative 7. It's right there. It is choice D. Interval notation. Well, where is this headed? It's headed toward positive infinity. So from left to right, it's negative 7 to infinity, parentheses always, in this case, bracket, because of the equal. Let's look at some more. Number 3. I have 5x minus 5 is greater than x minus 17. Something I haven't said, but I'm going to strongly encourage. With inequalities, get the variable on the left. No longer am I going to think about, do I want to get rid of the small one or the large one? I want the variable to be on the left so I can read the answer x is greater than something or x is smaller than something. Because of that, I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and it is an implied 1x. So I'm left with 4x minus 5 greater than negative 17. Add 5, 4x is greater than, keeping that symbol, negative 12. Divide by 4, which is a positive number, x is greater than negative 3. That's my inequality. You're not asked for that answer, but you have to have it to go on. Greater than, that means it has to go to the right. It can't be either one of those. Strictly greater than, not equal. So greater than, I need the parentheses at -3. So in this one, it is choice A. What would it be as an interval? Left to right. -3, comma, infinity. Always parentheses there. And for this 3, I also need parentheses. You do have on your computer keyboard, you have the bracket when you need it. It is one of your keys on your keyboard. All right, next one. I have -4x plus 5 is greater than or equal to 3 parentheses 2 minus x. All right, left-hand side looks good. Right-hand side, I can simplify. So I've got, copy this down, -4x plus 5 greater than or equal to 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times -x is -3x. Remember that I want the variable on the left. So I'm going to add 3x, add 3x. That gives me negative implied 1x plus 5 is greater than or equal to 6. I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. Negative implied 1x, you don't have to write the 1, I'm just reminding you, is greater than or equal to 1. Now, the coefficient of x is -1. You're going to divide both sides by -1. All right, that's that special case where you're dividing both sides by a negative. That's going to become x. This is going to switch to a less than or equal to, and the quotient over here is -1. The answer doesn't have to always turn out to be negative. It's the act of dividing by a negative coefficient that causes this to switch. So less than means to the left. Can't be that one or that one. Less than or equal to, that means I need a bracket. There we go. Choice B. What will that look like as an interval? Left to right, -infinity, comma, -1, always parentheses around the infinities, and this time bracket at -1. All right, last couple. I have 10 parentheses 2x minus 1 is less than or equal to 5 parentheses 2x minus 6. I have to simplify on both sides. Distributive property. That's 20x minus 10 is less than or equal to 10x minus 30, distributing that 5. Going to subtract 10x from both sides. That leaves me with 10x minus 10 less than or equal to -30. Add 10 to both sides. 10x less than or equal to -20. Divide by 10, which is a positive number, so nothing's going to reverse. And I have x is less than or equal to -2. Less than, that means it has to go to the left. Less than or equal to means I need a bracket. It is choice A. What would that be as an interval? Well, we know out here is -infinity, so it is from -infinity to -2, always parentheses around the infinity. This case is a bracket. It means x, the solution, is a number somewhere from -infinity up to and including -2. All right, our last problem. We have 6 parentheses x plus 5 minus 5 is greater than -2 parentheses x minus 2, whoops, plus 13. I have a good bit of simplifying to do. Distributive property, 6x plus 30 minus 5, and I'm going to go ahead and finish that. I have like terms. That's 6x plus 25, still greater than. Let's simplify on the right. Distribute. That's -2x. -2 times -2 is plus 4. plus 13. Keep the negative 2x. 4 and 13 is 17. Get my x's on the left. Add 2x. Add 2x. 8x plus 25 is greater than 17. Subtract 25. Subtract 25. 8x still greater than negative 8. Divide by 8, which is a positive number, so nothing reverses. X is greater than negative 1. Greater than to the right. So I X off the ones that can't be right. And strictly greater than means parentheses. So it's going to be choice A. What will that be as an interval? From negative 1 to infinity, always parentheses there. In this case, parentheses on the negative 1. So I hope you're feeling pretty good about the three forms. You've got the inequality solution, you've got a number line representation, and an interval.